This presentation provides information on proposed amendments to simplify and update height regulations in the Zoning and Development Bylaw. We'd also like to acknowledge that we are on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations. We thank them for having cared for this land and look forward to working with them in partnership as we continue to build this great city together. This presentation will review proposed amendments to simplify height regulations in the Zoning and Development Bylaw. The amendments include new and updated definitions and more flexible regulations for rooftop decks and access features. Before reviewing the proposed amendments, a brief overview of the Regulation Redesign project is provided. Regulation Redesign is a corporate priority project to support the Vancouver economy by improving the regulatory framework. It's aligned with other work to improve permit processes, but the focus of Regulation Redesign is to simplify the regulations and improve their consistency, as well as modernize the bylaw format to make it more user-friendly. The project will not focus on substantive zoning or policy amendments, but will work closely with staff teams leading that work to ensure coordination. These images show how the city's land use regulations have evolved over time. From a 94-page bylaw adopted in 1956 on the left to 800 pages plus several volumes of related regulations and policies on the right. The increasing number of regulations and policies has created significant complexity. While the bylaw has been amended numerous times, there hasn't been a comprehensive review since it was adopted. At the launch of the Regulation Redesign project in 2018, we held a stakeholder roundtable, a series of pop-up events, information sessions, and listening sessions, as well as external advisory and industry workshops. Through these, we heard 4 consistent themes. I can't find the information I need, and even if I can find it, I don't understand it. The information conflicts both within the Zoning and Development Bylaw and with other regulations and policies, and the rules are being inconsistently interpreted and applied. To address these issues, the project is focusing on 3 key themes. The first is modernizing the bylaw structure and format to make it easier to find and understand regulations. We're aiming to deliver a reformatted bylaw by the end of next year in 2022. Work so far has included reorganizing and reformatting sections 2 through 5 of the Zoning and Development Bylaw, which are the definitions, authorities, administration of development permits, and related regulations. And also sections 10 and 11, which are general and additional regulations. We have also developed a prototype for a more user-friendly district schedule. The second grouping of work is to simplify and clarify land use regulations and bring more consistency across regulations, including recent amendments for floor space ratio exclusions for balconies, porches, and decks. The proposed height amendments are part of this work and are incremental changes toward more simplified zoning regulations. The third group of work is to clarify the land use framework, which has included creating 3 centralized web pages, one of which is the Land Use Document Library that now houses the Zoning and Development Bylaw, land use policies, guidelines, and bulletins. For more details on the work we've done, please visit our project webpage, vancouver.ca/reg-redesign. Now we'll review the proposed amendments to simplify the height regulations in the Zoning and Development Bylaw. The proposed amendments include adding 2 new definitions to Section 2, one to define height and one to define decorative roof, as well as updating the definition for base surface. The proposed amendments to Section 1018 height regulations include modernizing language and updating terms, providing more flexibility for rooftop amenity spaces and access, and clarifying the decorative roof regulations. Height is currently not defined in the Zoning and Development Bylaw. The proposed definition would explain that height is measured as the vertical distance a building extends above base surface, that interpolation is used to determine the point on the base surface from which height is measured, and that the regulations in a district schedule may limit the number of stories or the building envelope. Amendments to the definition for base surface are proposed to clarify that existing grades may be used to determine base surface when official established building grades cannot be obtained or when they are incompatible with grades on adjacent sites. The definition would also be updated to remove language referring to the calculation of height, as that will be included in the new height definition. A new definition is also proposed to clarify what is considered a decorative roof. It includes an architecturally designed roof element on buildings over 30.5 meters high that enhances the overall appearance of the building and screens and integrates mechanical appurtenances. It does not add to floor area. Proposed amendments to Section 1018 would remove the current sections 1018.1 to 1018.3, which explain how height and base surface are calculated. This information will be contained in the height and base surface definitions in Section 2. Amendments would also include providing more flexibility in height increases to accommodate various features. This includes removing the current limitation for height increases that restricts any additional height to 1/3 of the building width. The requirement that the height increase does not exceed 10% of roof area would still apply. Regulations for architectural appurtenances would be modernized, and the 1.1 meter height restriction on appurtenances would be removed. More flexibility for rooftop access structures and common rooftop amenity structures that are not built as part of a green roof is proposed for structures that are 3.6 meters or less in height. Finally, screening material that reduces visual impacts may also be excluded from height calculations. For specific changes to these regulations, please see the redline document available on the Shape Your City webpage. Proposed amendments to the height regulations will be reported to Council later this spring. Please share your thoughts on the proposed amendments. Your input will help create clearer and more effective regulations. The comment form closes March 31st. For more information on the Regulation Redesign project, please visit our project webpage at vancouver.ca/reg redesign.